Welcome, everyone, to Read the Book First. Today, Marissa joins us to help talk about Mickey 17, the 2025 adaptation of Mickey 7.
It's so confusing because the what is that called? The
The
cover.
cover? Whoa.
It's the movie poster for all like if you get it from the library.
Uh,
So
not
it says Mickey. What is the movie?
Mickey's 17.
Unbelievable.
I had the edition for the library that was like the astronaut in space, the OG.
Mm.
That was Mickey 7.
Oh no, you know why? Because I got it on Kindle Unlimited.
That's why.
Sorry, everyone. Janessa was right, and I hate. Oh, I hate to admit it.
And that is staying in the edit.
I know. But listen, that's staying in the edit. But if Janessa was the one that was wrong, y'all wouldn't hear a peep of it. Not a peep.
And
And that is what editorial
I am the producer, I'm the editor,
privilege looks
I am
like.
the creator. This is mine. Um, we just for clarification's sake, we watched this movie when it came out at the beginning of March. It is currently the beginning of April. It's been a month since we've seen it. Um, Time has flown as it does in
What?
spring. Yeah, because it came out like March 7th or something, and it's past April 7th. So I only saw it once. I'm assuming you only saw it once. Yeah.
Why would I see it twice?
I don't know.
Actually,
Who
no, this
knows?
is not one of those movies. This is not Little Women, which I saw 5 times and thought I was seeing a sixth time. But it turns out I was actually seeing Ford versus Ferrari.
Every time you
Well,
tell me that story, it cracks me up because I saw Ford versus Ferrari because Isaac was like, "We have to go watch Cars," and I was like, "Okay, whatever. I'll go if it's in theaters because I like the movie going experience." And what a movie that I could not give two shits about
it was
versus
so
Little
loud.
Women. I'm I never saw it. I know we've talked about this.
Oh yeah. Wait, I think I have this reaction every time.
And I know I
What?
will love it. It came out when I was right before COVID, right?
Yep.
And I was adjusting to teaching here, so I was busy.
Hmm.
Anyways, tangent aside, we've only seen the movie once. I made a quick like voice note to myself about my thoughts. Was that voice note helpful 20 minutes ago when I re-listened to it? No. So we're gonna miss some things from the movie, but that's okay. We're not perfect.
That has not been my experience with myself, but that's fine.
Okay. If you've not seen the announcement that I'm assuming is up by now, I have started a Patreon for the podcast, and there's fun things you can get on there if you become a patron, like fun little behind the scenes videos I'm making while I read books, fun little videos and games that me and my guests are doing. Marissa and I just did an amazing BuzzFeed quiz. They-
Yeah, it was really good.
it was so good that you guys have to go join the Patreon. And I believe I currently have it set that you can have 1 week free of the Patreon if you so want. Vic 17 was directed by Bong Joon Ho, who is a Oscar-winning director and writer who directed Parasite, which I have still not seen, and I'm still a little scared to see. Is it
Oh, you
scary?
should watch it. It's not scary.
Okay.
It's not
I was
scary.
okay. I always thought it was a little bit horror-y.
Mm-mm.
Okay, cool.
I mean, in the way that like for me it would
Yeah.
be, and there's like people in their house.
Yeah.
Um, but
Okay.
it's not like they know people
Yeah.
are in the house, you know,
Gotcha, gotcha.
like
Okay.
it's not like
It's not
yeah,
like
it's not a horror
Hereditary
movie.
or something like that.
No, no, no,
Oh, yeah,
no.
okay. Cool. Cool. So I need to watch that. I have not watched any movies by him until then. Like I've not seen Snowpiercer. I've not seen the one with that hippo creature. I forget what
What's
that's
that one
called.
called?
It's like it starts with an O,
Yeah, or something.
something like that. Yeah, it's on. It was on Netflix or was for a while on Netflix because I always
That's
saw it in
surprising
that.
because that's a hippo adjacent. movie.
I know, but I think pretty sure I looked up the Wikipedia of the plot and got sad, and I was like, I can't watch one of my favorite esque animals, uh, be
It's like
sad.
animal rights. It's like animal
Yeah,
rights.
yeah, and I was like,
Snowpiercer is awesome. You
I
should
know
totally
Isaac
watch
says that
that.
all the time whenever it comes up, but I'm like,
Chris Evans is in it. And
all
Chris
right,
Evans
I'm sold.
is hot.
I,
I get you a hot boy.
the worst part about Captain America is that he's hot. As in the worst part, as in I will watch Chris Evans.
Right. I
Yeah,
totally understand.
yeah,
I understand completely.
yeah.
I mean, I have to watch Captain America. Oh,
Oh
God.
no, not America's
God.
ass. There's that line, in that one Avengers movie. Anyways, I have not seen any of his movies before, so I wasn't sure what to expect besides like fun, good, different. And I think that kind of sums up my thoughts on this movie. It's fun, it's good, it's different, in a
It's okay.
non-deep way.
It's okay. The
Here's the
beginning
thing
part
though.
is great.
The beginning was so
It's
good.
very different. I don't want you to go into Parasite thinking that it is anything like this
Oh,
movie.
I know it's a
Okay.
totally different tone. Yes.
Um, the last part of this movie, I was like, we have lost the plot. We have gone off the rails. Snowpiercer.
Hmm.
Yeah, they totally lost me in the last half.
Yeah, they changed a lot from the book, and they, like we talked about in the book episode, if you've not listened to that, go listen to it. He got the rights to this movie before it was published. Like he had an early reader's arc or early reader copy. So he um possibly didn't have the final like version of it, and he changed a lot, but I'm not mad at a lot of changes. I think it helped the story because we, if, again, listen to the last episode, we had a lot of issues
Did not
with the
like the
book.
book,
No.
but yeah, I think he just used like the base premise.
Mm-hmm.
And what we ended up liking a lot about the book was like the history and stuff. And that's not
Mm-hmm.
as much in the movie, but that's okay because the
Mm-hmm.
changes he made to the actual plot to make it an actual plot
Yeah.
are better than the book. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think for me, what I loved about this movie, I wouldn't say I loved this movie, right? I thought I thoroughly enjoyed it. But I think what I loved about this movie and what I was expecting to love was Robert Pattinson.
He's such a great actor. It's
He's such
crazy.
a great
He's because
actor.
that's a hot guy and he is
Hmm.
as unappealing as can be in this movie. He has this
Yes.
like high-pitched nasally voice. He has like a bowl cut. And then obviously there's two of them. It's the
Hmm.
same premise as the book.
Hmm.
And they're both unappealing for different reasons. And I just
Yeah. And
that's the human experience.
whenever he was on screen, I was like, you are an actor. They're like, people need to study how you do this. And, and I love that for the last like decade or so, like obviously he's like, he was in the Batman, which is like a big movie, obviously. Not that
He
this
was
wasn't a big
hot in
movie.
that. I will just
He
note.
was hot in the Batman. Yeah. I love that him and Daniel Radcliffe's kind of doing the same thing, whereas like the movies that they choose are not necessarily blockbusters. They're like, I like this acting challenge. I like this new thing, and they're not afraid to get weird. They're not afraid to look stupid, and I love that about this movie because I I've watched a lot of interviews with Pattinson and Bong Joon Ho and their relationship together as they're creating this. And you can tell that they had a really good working relationship. And um, like Pattinson was like, he let me lead the way on accents. And once we figured out this one version of it wasn't working, we changed it slightly. And Bong Joon-ho in the interview was like, yeah, I don't come from the world of English accents, so I let him figure that out. And I'm like, this is good.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
yeah.
Bong Joon-ho is like a uniquely perfect director for somebody who's weird, like
Hmm.
Robert Pattinson definitely is.
Yeah.
He shoots really, like if you listen to people talk about his shooting style, he shoots
Hmm.
really differently than a lot of other directors. So he'll do it like scene, like he'll do separate scenes or like but he'll do them in order, which a
Hmm.
lot of people like you'll see like they film their last scene that they film in Harry Potter is like the scene where they're in the like walking through the streets of London after
Hmm.
escaping the wedding or whatever, like something like that.
It's usually set based.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
exactly. So they'll do it by that, but he doesn't do it that way. He like will actually just go in chronological. And I
Hmm.
think he doesn't do cuts. Like he does full scene throughs, like
Hmm.
playthroughs. So like a lot of they'll like splice together cuts. And I don't think he does that. So it's
Hmm.
like you got to be like on
Yeah.
100%. It's kind of crazy. It's like you really have to be a talented actor, I think,
Hmm.
work with somebody like that because that sounds hard.
Yeah. Um, so the main obvious change from the book to this movie is that there's 17 Mickeys that, well, technically 18, but we're following Mickey 17 instead of 7. And when I love also like his humor, he was when Bong Joon was asked this, he was like, "Well, I thought it would be funnier if he died 10 more times, and it'd be a better visual effect to see more deaths of how they are abusing his body. So I made it like that." And I was like, I love that. Like, just like, well, duh, it's funnier this way.
Yeah, and there's way
Yeah.
less like emphasis. It's not as what's that word when you like bare minimum kind of thing? Like that's what the colony is like in the book.
Minimalistic.
Aesthetic? No, it's something like that.
Hmm.
But I'll figure it out. But yeah, I'm like minimalist. Like they
Hmm.
have very few things because they like everything they
Like
eat, everything they
sterile.
do is going through, like it's recycling through.
Hmm.
So they can't have like a lot of extra, and they can't have a lot of weight because they couldn't bring a lot of stuff on this. That is done and gone here,
Hmm.
which I think is perfect
Hmm.
because it's a way it lets like Marshall, he's the bad guy in both, but
Yeah.
like in
He's the
this one he
leader.
is so comedically bad.
Hmm.
It's so good. It's just better. He's better than the author,
Yeah.
whose
And
name is like Sam Smith or something. I can't remember. It's irrelevant.
um Sean Astin, I think. Wait, no.
What?
Not, it's Sean something. No, it's Edward Ashton,
Like I
the
said,
author.
that's
Anyways,
what I said earlier, I'm pretty sure. But that's why they can have more Mickeys, is
yes.
because there isn't this like focus on like, oh, we can't waste materials. Like, blah, we wasted another material. God, the number of times that was in the book. Ugh, stop talking about. Stop.
Yeah. I think what also made me enjoy this movie is the set design that they used and the differences. Like this not only was I think this has to do with like his directorial style, but like each set, like the setup for each shot, interior shot, the outside shots we can talk about because that's obviously more CGI. But like the interior shots of the ship are so well done. Like the lighting is really cool. There's like a certain color palette throughout the movie, which I really liked. The hallway is always grungy. Their like rooms are so bare minimal. Like essentially, like if you have a small little room in a train, that's kind of the vibe of the room they have on the ship, which I liked.
Until you get to Marshall's room
Yes.
and his wife,
Yeah.
and then it's like brightly lit, and there's
Hmm.
like
And they're wearing
Persian
fuchsia.
carpets. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's a chandelier. Yeah. So that's another like change here is that not only do we have Marshall, but we have Ilfa, his wife. And
That is her
the
name.
Ilfa, yeah.
Toni Morrison. Oh, no, not Toni Morrison. God, what's wrong with
Whoa.
us today? Toni
Tony.
Collette's
Yeah.
character.
Ilfa. Yeah. YLFA, according to IMDb. Yeah. Um, I I liked like obviously the book has like social commentary because it was like trying to be like cool and philosophic, blah blah blah. We hated it. Listen to the episode. Um but the movie obviously has like social commentary, but it's like very obviously direct social commentary to like the last 10 years, which I think was so well done because like it's like partly not like you're overly commentary, but also in parts very like this is this person in real life. Like it's like equal parts, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
when
Mark
they
Ruffalo is doing a not so subtle Donald Trump.
Mark Ruffalo in this movie was so funny and
Got his
so
click
good.
clackers. Yeah, he's got his click clacker teeth.
Yeah, his teeth, he was like grimacing. Him and his the character's wife's relationship was wild. Like in the book, Marshall is very like military, but also, still part of the like whole like anti expendable religious
Yeah,
cult,
he was in a
whatever.
cult.
Yeah, and so instead of that, it's essentially just like this nationalistic politician.
Aesthetic. That's the word.
What?
Aesthetic. I-
Aesthetic?
It means like
Spell it.
simple life, like austere, like not a lot of extra stuff.
Uh-huh.
That's the word I was looking for earlier.
How do you spell it?
Ascetic.
Wow. Didn't know that word. We learn every day on this podcast, giving you knowledge.
Characterize a lifestyle characterized by abstinence from worldly pleasures,
Mm.
often for the purpose of pursuing spiritual goals.
Hmm.
Ah,
Interesting. But yeah, so in the movie version, when we get the back story, also we have to talk about Mickey's backstory in general in a second. But when he's signing up,
it's crazy.
uh-huh, when he's signing up to be an expendable, of everyone else trying to get on the ship are all like these followers of this failed politician who was Marshall, and they all are all not so subtly wearing red hats.
They're
Um,
MAGA. It's
no,
MAGA. They're all
it's like
MAGA.
that.
Like,
That and Mark Ruffalo are the most like over the head part of this like social commentary, but that there is like other stuff too. But it's just like it was
also,
just.
like, I thought I connected more with the movie because the home planet is Earth.
Hmm.
And they're like, they're in this, Mickey is signing up to be an expendable, and like they're experiencing a crazy sandstorm because that's just the norm in this new Earth.
Hmm.
Well, not new Earth, it's the same Earth, but we've screwed it over.
Yeah, global warming, etc.
Climate
Yeah,
change. But
climate change.
I thought that was way better than having this like diaspora that was in the book where like,
And it's so separate from our current
yeah,
world. Yeah. No, I agree. I loved that in this version, the Birdo character, who I think his name's Tim or something, who is what's the actor's name?
emo. I remember this because I was
Oh,
like,
Timo. Yeah.
he was played
Um,
by
um,
Stephen
uh,
Yeun.
yeah, Stephen Yun. He is like such an asshole.
He's like barely in the movie, which I
Yeah.
am pro.
Yes. But whenever he's there, it's like it's for the plot. It's funny. It's worth this. Like that's the thing about the book to this movie is like the movie is like, oh, the amount of time these characters are on scene or on the, being seen makes sense. Where in the book, I'm like, why do I care about you?
Yeah, why
So,
are we eating
mhm.
lunch with Berto again?
Yep. Yep.
Oh,
In the movie's version of the story, Mickey and Berto join, or Timo, sorry, Mickey and Timo join the ship to get away from this like huge mobster who they owe money to because they got a loan to sell macaroons. Macarons, sorry.
he's opened a macaron shop.
A macaron shop in this like dystopia world. And like at one point they're wearing these t-shirts. I forget what they said, but I just had a picture of them wearing these pink t-shirts.
Okay, I think it's like a pun. I'm gonna look this up.
It's a pun and it was good. But they got a loan, their shop failed, and Mickey has gone along with Timo's idea, so it's not even Mickey's idea. So similarly, like in the book, he's just kind of like stuck with
Not
Timo.
a pun. It says macarons are not a sin. What?
I mean, the shop failed. I think the marketing kind of leads to that.
Hmm.
I loved the mobster stuff. I mean, I loved and hated it because it was gross, but I loved that we understand why that Mickey chose this really like desperate choice that no one was signing up for to be the expendable. And it's because he's terrified of dying. It's ironic, but he's terrified of because this mobster is like loves to watch the slow, disgusting pain of and death of his
He
uh
makes snuff
clients.
films.
Huh?
not clients.
I couldn't think of a word. Victims, that's the word I was thinking of. I just couldn't think of it.
Yeah, he makes snuff films.
Yes. Yeah.
Them like being chainsawed and shit.
Hmm.
Ugh.
Yeah. It was gross, but like I think it's a smart choice as far as to get the plot to move along to why Mickey chose the expendable. Um, I really liked the visuals of when they are showing all the different Mickeys coming out of the printer. I thought that was a fun way of doing it.
Him like flopping over because
Hmm.
the like biolab people aren't paying attention.
Yeah.
I was
Um,
like, having worked with biologists, accurate.
uh-huh. Uh-huh. I know a few. Um,
Oh, me and Isaac would not be qualified for that trip.
no. What birds?
Although we should
Except for there
because
was a bird.
there's wildlife.
There was a bird. That man in that pigeon suit that kept showing up.
That was so, what was that? So
He's just
weird.
like some corporate lackey, just like
Yeah.
trying to like pep people up in a pigeon suit at every scene. And I looked it up before we started recording. I was like, "What's the deal with the pigeon suit in Mickey 17?" And Google was like, "I don't know, man." And I was like, "Cool. I like that answer."
I like it.
Yeah,
That's perfect. Honestly,
just a
I don't
guy in
want
a
to
pigeon
be
suit.
reading behind the
Yeah,
guy in the pigeon suit.
yeah. It's a quality pigeon suit too.
It's not bad.
Yeah. A big part of this movie's PR was that it was a rom-com in parts. Um, After watching this, I don't agree that it is a rom-com. I think there is a romance subplot that does add to it. Like romance as in there's a romantic partner who is important to what they decide to do. You know what I mean? So we have Nasha, who her and Mickey end up start dating like they do in the book. We get scenes of her like showing him such compassion when he's going through those horrible scientific uh trials and
Yeah.
tasks and everything. And like that part, I liked the sweetness of that.
I also really like that she's like way more important than him
Yes.
in the whole, I don't know, hierarchy, whatever. So
Hmm.
she has a say, she's an
Hmm.
important person. And they show him like supporting her. And
Hmm.
like when she leaves for work, he's like standing there like, bye. And I
Hmm.
was like, yeah, bitch. Take that
Hmm.
gender roles.
I
I
also
just really
love
like
her.
that this
Yeah.
at least this Mickey
Yeah.
like was like, oh, okay, I'm happy to be the housewife or whatever.
Hmm.
That was good.
Yeah.
Not far off from the actual accent that he used.
Yeah. Not bad. I liked the how they showed the backstory of their relationship. Also on this ship, as they're going, Ilfa, Marshall's wife, keeps like whispering to Marshall different rules to help control the people. And I love also that Marshall just is like a complete buffoon,
Complete, like he has not like she's obviously
pulling the strings.
pulling the strings, wearing the
Mhm.
pants.
She's obsessed with sauce.
That part didn't get
Mm-mm.
very
Disgusting.
strange,
Yeah.
really gross.
It's the reason why people need hobbies so that they can avoid getting obsessed with weird sauces. At one point, they decide that everyone has to be celibate until they get settled. And Anasha is very anti the whole vibe of the ship. And she's like, fuck everyone. Y'all suck, except for me and Mickey. And then they are just like ridiculously horny, which, like, whatever. You know, it's part of their character. And at least it's consistent throughout, whatever. I did like that they tied in them being silly and drawing those like sex positions on that like iPad. Um, I like that they did tie that in later on. Like
Yeah,
there wasn't much about this movie that I didn't feel was like wasted as far as like different things.
I have one. The character of Kai, who
Oh,
I
yes.
can't remember her name in the book, but she's the one who turns them in the book.
Yeah.
Andy or
Yeah.
Cookie or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Her character is a waste, a total waste. I'm like,
Hmm.
we could have just not had this character. I don't get
Yeah.
her. She doesn't turn like in the book, that's the character that turns them
Turns
in
them in.
to Marshall,
Yeah. For
basically.
the multiple situation.
But that's not what happens
She
here. It's
discovers
not like a
them.
moral, like she discovers them, but then like while her like Nasha chases her down
Yes, I forgot
and
about
she's like
that.
trying to negotiate, like, well, you can keep 18 and I'll keep
Yeah.
17. And
Yeah.
then as they're negotiating, the Mickeys run into
Yeah.
the room where Marshall's giving the his late night talk show, maybe? I can't
That's
remember.
like, yeah.
Yeah, it's so strange. But and then she kind of flirts with Mickey at different times. Yeah, I just don't get her character. She's the one thing that I like literally as soon as the movie ended, I was like, what was the point of her?
I did forget about her, so I guess that does
There you go.
prove your point. So maybe besides her, I feel like all the other and the pigeon, but the pigeon I'm fine having no consequence. I
Pigeon,
like
yeah.
the pigeon.
Yeah,
Pigeon
yeah.
was there for me to
Yeah,
enjoy and be like,
that's
that's
right.
dumb.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the whole love story thing was not really a thing. I had a few friends on Letterboxd even say, "What a great rom-com," and I'm like, "Is that a serious?" I'm like, "This is not a great rom-com. This is a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
It's not that sci-fi movies can't be romantic, but like this
It's
one,
like a sci-fi dystopian, in my opinion.
yeah, yeah." And it's much more about like Mickey's journey here is much more about accepting himself in this version than the book, where it's like the whole ship of Theseus thing
My
or
God.
Theseus. God, I said it
700
wrong.
times I had to read
Oh
about
yeah,
the ship
yeah,
of Theseus. Yeah,
yeah.
the ship of Theseus is not mentioned one goddamn time in this
Thank the
movie.
Lord.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. Um, I but as far as the like romance subplot walls goes, I did like that Nasha is fully like, I like every version of you, Mickey. Like that's the point of their relationship is her pointing that out. And I did like that as like for me, it was kind of worth dealing with the like subplot of their romance relationship to have that moment because I think that does pay off with especially Mickey 17's whole thing. Um, Mickey 18, he comes out super aggressive and super horny and aggressive and like kind of like an asshole, which he is kind of like an asshole in the book, but like they're more similar in the book.
Yeah.
And in an interview, I think it's the Vanity Fair interview with um Boon John. I'll link that in the notes. But he talks about how the printer when 18 was being made was getting jammed, and so people were hitting it to try to get it to come out, and so that's why they made 18 more aggressive and kind of more of a dick, like
Okay,
full front.
this is crazy because I was thinking about this from like like a behavioral
Hmm.
ecologist
Hmm.
brain. And this is a classic like nature versus nurture thing, right? Like
Yes.
we have genetics. There is evidence that there are like certain genes for certain behavioral traits.
Hmm.
And we can see this in all sorts of animals, but we're talking about humans here. But nurture plays a huge role in this, right? So like you can be a sociopath and have like a perfectly good upbringing and not murder people, right? But there's like triggers that if that happens, you're more likely to go on to do XYZ, right? I mean, like
Hmm.
we have plenty of examples of sociopaths that have not murdered people
Yep.
directly. But this, so I was kind of thinking like, well, how do they get these new person, like these different personalities? Because we all have these different facets to our
Hmm.
personalities, right? We're not just like, nobody's like, I'm happy. I'm the
Hmm.
happy one. No. And it's certainly not me, but but the like to have like one come to the forefront over another in these expendables. So you'd think they would be matching the same personality as whatever he was feeling in that moment that he was being copied, right?
Hmm.
Um, but that's interesting. So that's man, he's such an interesting screenwriter
Yeah.
and director because that's crazy. That would be like a nurture thing, right? Where
Hmm.
like he has like kind of these pre-programmed personality traits,
Hmm.
but it just so happened that when he was being printed, there was like aggression around him, which does
Yeah.
influence like if you know,
Yeah. Yeah.
that's how you learn is like if somebody's aggressive or like if your parents are really fighting with one
Hmm.
another, then you're more likely to be aggressive.
Hmm.
Crazy. That's so interesting from like
Hmm.
a behavioral science standpoint.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Janessa loves science. She loved
I'm
that's
number
why
one
she loved this
science
movie.
fan. I I love thinking about movies, hence why I have this podcast.
Interesting.
We
Yeah.
wow, interesting. And I like I like when things like this happen when I find out of why a director or a videographer makes those choices or an actor makes those choices and how it kind of goes in play. Even when there's little ones like that. That's one of the reasons why I enjoy this movie is because even though like is it perfect? No. Is there too much puking? Absolutely.
Oh my,
So much puking, so much body fluids. Not a fan.
100% too much puking.
Yes. But like every scene for the most part, with the, I think exception of Kai, because I keep forgetting about that. Um, I can see that there was a reason behind everything happening, even if it was just like, oh, if this was really a ship landing, then items would be falling off the shelf. So we have to make sure that happens. Like there's logical steps. I'm a big fan of. I'm a big fan of people thinking about what they're doing in a movie, which sounds silly, but so often people don't think about what they're doing in a movie. Like they need to hire me to think about their movies.
That's right. You need like a cohesive story. They'll have,
Yes.
okay, I'm watching Lost right now, so
Yikes.
this is very prudent. They'll have like a great starting idea, and then the middle, it's like, uh-oh, where are we going? And then the end, it just goes totally off the walls, bonkaroos, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, whole stories are becoming less and less common, I feel like a
Yes.
good, complete story to that very
Hmm. Yeah. And a complete, like good, well thought out story doesn't have to have a happy end. It doesn't have to have an ending that is like all wrapped up in a pretty bow. It just has to have thoughts that fully go through, like plot lines and themes that go from A to B, and that the characters, end. All the actions make sense.
Mhm.
And I think this is one of those movies that does that, right? Like, okay, so when they get to the actual planet and they're out exploring the creepers, I loved.
My biggest problem with the people, not the writing of this
Hmm.
movie, but the people, the characters, is that they keep saying that these adorable little isopod guys
Hmm.
are not cute, that they're ugly and gross. This is not correct. These are the cutest things I've ever seen in my life.
They're just weird roly-polies,
Yes, yes.
weird potato bugs.
Yeah, they're little pill bugs.
Hmm.
They're so stankin' cute.
Hmm.
Okay, there was one moment, Janessa and I saw this together. There was one moment where everyone in the theater gasped, and it's when, what's her name? Ulfa, whatever.
Ilfa.
Yeah, when she chops the tail
Hmm.
off of the baby, what a creeper.
Hmm.
I was like, I'm gonna cry.
Everyone was like,
It was crazy. It was crazy. Like everyone in the theater gasped.
yeah,
It was really wild. I
yeah.
love when that happens.
I love going to the movies.
I love movies. Yeah.
Ugh,
Yeah, it doesn't matter like, oh, it's going to be on streaming. If I want to see a movie, I'm going to go to the theater. And this
yes,
is a perfect movie to see in theaters, I think.
yes,
Like I did not feel like I don't think I liked it as much as you, but I don't feel
yeah.
like I wasted my money. Uh,
No, I'm glad I saw it in theaters. Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like big visuals and I
Hmm.
think it's really great. Yeah. And I think that it really does benefit from that like group watching experience.
Yeah,
Like I wouldn't
I
watch this on
agree.
my own again, probably. I'm not a big movie gal anyways,
Yeah,
but oh, I love the theater. The
yeah.
theater.
I'll probably watch it again to make Isaac watch it since he didn't join us. Oh, one thing I did like, I liked the fight between the Mickeys. I thought that was fun and fun choreographed, and the acting and cutting in and out from the fighting to the other characters. I thought that was really well done. Whenever Mickey was by himself out in the snow was fine, because Robert Pattinson, beautiful. But the ending in general was chaotic. I
Mhm.
liked parts of it. I didn't like that they held this baby hostage and that all the creepers were like circling. I thought the visually that was fun.
Yeah.
Um, and like the whole thing about being like they're peaceful. They just want their child back, you know? And really playing the whole idea that Marshall and Ilfo just want to conquer and wipe everything out. That's not, quote, perfect, whatever that is, right? So I liked that as far as themes go, and I liked that they included the bits about like that sex position from the iPad from earlier. Like I came back to play like again. I had like some sort of like, oh, it makes sense why they spent time on that. You know, the whole bits of when both of Mickey's are out in the snow and Marshall is in that other tank. It was
That was
it was a
that
lot.
scene was long, and I was like, okay, obviously one of them's gonna die, and it's gonna be the aggro one. So let's just
Hmm.
get to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I think that part was a little long. I like that as an ending in general. I just think it could have been shorter
Hmm.
and like snippier. Like go, 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 you know?
Yeah, yeah. I think this movie could have been, it was like a little over 2 hours. I think it could have been cut down by like 30 minutes easy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because like that whole, like the whole last scene where the creepers are circling and then they're like out. Marshall is like making a speech, like making a campaign video or something. I can't figure it out, but
Hmm.
he's basically making like propaganda.
Yeah.
Um, and then like they're trying to get the baby back, and then like Nasha's holding the baby up with her teeth, and then
And
there's
some of the
like a
scientists are,
rebellion
yeah,
that
and
we
some of the
haven't been
scientists
introduced
are like secret
to.
agents. And then there's
Yeah.
also the mob boss had gotten a guy on there that's coming to try and kill them. Like
Yeah.
that, like I'm glad there was like some sort of like secret agent descent. I just wished what it would have been fun if we saw it and Mickey 17 didn't see it like earlier,
Yeah, that's it
you
wasn't
know?
like there wasn't like at least maybe there was and I missed it,
Yeah.
but there wasn't like little subtle hints, which
Hmm.
leads me to believe it wasn't there because I like even the most subtle hint I would have been like,
Yeah.
what's going on there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I agree. I mean, like obviously this guy's like a lunatic. There's
Hmm.
definitely going to be like and there's people like Nasha on board who aren't I'm sorry, what they're not sycophants.
Yeah.
So like obviously there's going to be more people. At
Yeah.
least to me, it's obvious that there's going to be more people that aren't like. And this guy, he's just like he's like like an Elon Musk, Donald Trump character. Like he's
Hmm.
not affiliated with the U.S. government at this time because he is like literally a failed senator. Like
Yeah.
he never got elected. He's just like a cult leader or like a
Yeah.
cult of personalities. Um,
Hmm.
but yeah, so obviously like there's gonna be people from the actual US government making sure this guy doesn't like commit fucking genocide or something, which
Hmm.
he tries to do. Fun
Yeah.
fact.
I thought the ending of the snow bits was a little too long, but besides that, it was pretty decent ending. The epilogue of it, I thought was fine. You know, like I'm glad that they're happy. I'm glad that they destroyed the printer and like Mickey got his flowers, you know,
Did we need the like the daydream?
right? The
I
daydream
don't
part I did not
understand that
like because I was just like, okay, so he has trauma, understandable. Went through only a few traumatic things in this
part.
version of you, let alone the rest of your life,
Mhm.
you know? Like talk about generational trauma when you've literally died 16 times beforehand and remember most of
You
them.
you are your own generational trauma
Yeah.
at that point.
Like, where's the therapist on board this ship? There definitely is not one.
This, this is crazy.
Hmm.
This I talked about this a little bit in the book one. Where are you need people that are competent, but also people that are socially aware.
Hmm.
They have one, but they do not have the other.
Yep. Yeah. But
Also, there's
besides,
drugs.
oh yeah, the
That's the fun
drugs. I
thing. There's
forgot.
drugs on board.
Because Timo's selling drugs.
That's right, because he's a real asshole.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. I forgot about that part. I mean, that makes sense. There's gonna
Yes.
be weird sci-fi drugs. There's always weird sci-fi drugs.
I like that Timo isn't like Berto and that Berto is just like naturally good at everything. Like
Hmm.
Timo is legit scamming his way through. And I'm like,
Yep.
yes,
Hmm.
that's real.
That's
It's so
sci-fi.
real for that.
Yeah.
Like, no, I can be a pilot. He's like selling drugs and
Mm,
convincing people to take out loans for a macaron shop. Unbelievable.
yeah. Yeah. I think what I like about this movie is that it is a sci-fi movie, but the sci-fi parts don't really matter as far
Yeah.
as the plot, which I love. I'm like, okay,
They're simple. It's
yeah.
like space,
Hmm.
aliens, which are
Colonization.
they're like, we have animals here, so we could like,
Yeah.
yeah, those are just animals. And then like a printer. It's just
Yeah.
a human printer.
Yeah.
We know all of these things.
Hmm. And I think I liked that part. I liked the style. I liked like visually. I thought it was really beautiful.
Oh,
Robert
gorgeous.
Pattinson
Not
loved.
gorgeous in this movie, but a great actor.
Yes.
Great
Yes.
actor.
But but yeah, I think that's why I enjoyed it. Like I think I gave it 4 stars on Letterboxd, and I think it's a decent rating. I looked, you also gave it 4 stars.
I stand by that.
Yeah, I think it's again like I will watch it with Isaac, and then like if it's on TV or if like my dad visits, my dad will love this movie. Like I'd watch it again like that, but I probably won't watch it again after that, you know?
Yeah, I'll watch it if somebody else wants to watch it,
Yeah.
or like
If I'm at a
somebody who I
hotel
think
and
would
it's on.
really like it. Oh, absolutely.
Great hotel
This
movie.
movie will, you think this will be on cable? That's crazy.
No,
You have to
it
pause
won't.
their Fast and the Furious, what is that called? Marathon
Mhm.
to get to it. Ain't happening. They have to
Fair.
stop showing literally all of the Avengers movies in one day in order to play this. Not happening.
Fair. Is this a good adaptation?
Yes.
Okay.
I think it's a good adaptation because it takes the absolute shit that is in the book.
Hmm.
It takes out any mention of like nuclear physics. Huge fan of that. And it gives us a lot of fun stuff.
Hmm.
But I think the like the heart of the book is the same as the heart of the movie. So I think in that way it's a good adaptation. It just makes it 1,000 times better and more palatable.
I agree. This does what I love when movies do is when they again take like the very basics of a movie, but they like, what if we took this but really focused on this theme and this lens and this is what we're trying to say and we kind of ignore the rest of it because it's gonna be stronger this way.
Mhm.
And that's what they did, and I think it's successful in that way, you know.
It's hilarious to say this about this movie in particular, which is so opulent and grand, but
Uh-huh.
it Coco Chanel'd the book.
Yes.
It said, here are three things from the book, and we're
Hmm.
going to take off literally everything else before
Yep.
we leave the door.
Hmm. Yes. Wild analogy, but you're not wrong.
It Coco
Yeah.
Chanel the book.
Hmm. Yeah. And I would say you should, uh, in this case, listen to our read the book first episode of the book, but skip the book.
Yeah.
Unless you care about philosophy and nuclear physics, then why would you be listening to this podcast? I don't
Yeah.
know.
Then, like, get a life. Sorry. I mean,
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm kind of not a nice person sometimes.
Hey, that's
Hey,
fine.
earlier Janessa was bullying me. So,
You'll never know because I'll edit it out of the podcast. It's the power I have.
all right.
Da-da-da. Here's some fun facts. The snow, wherever they're walking on snow, um, on the set is actually salt, and they had the same like bunch of salt they were filming in that set for like a month, and that salt was there the whole time. They didn't have to replenish it. They just kind of mixed it up for no footprints.
Huh.
Yeah, just a bunch of salt. When the ship is landing and they have marshals doing that weird like monologue on the loudspeaker, where he quotes like a version.
I love I'm growing to love this movie more and more.
I think when it comes out on DVD, I'll get it from the library and we can watch it with Isaac.
Okay. That sounds
Yeah,
like
it'll be a fun time.
yeah.
Um, But when they're landing and it goes back and forth between Marcia and Ilfa and Nasha and Mickey 17 landing, or not Mickey 17, Mickey whatever version that is, and the whole thing is a practical effect that the set was shaking. They had built like scaffolds under it, and the crew was actually shaking. And this is from that Vanity Fair interview. I watched. Bong Joon talked about how he made a movie in Japan that had to do with earthquakes, and that he learned this practical effect strategy from the crew in Japan because they were so used to filming earthquakes or filming during earthquakes that they're like, this is how you correctly make it. Yeah. And I was like, that's cool.
That's cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I love it.
Um,
Also, I'm like so for putting as many practical effects in as you can.
yes.
I think
And
that is why
mhm,
movies like Jurassic Park and Lord of the Rings still hold up, is because they're
yep.
mostly practical effects.
hmm Yeah. And in that Vanity Fair interview, they have like a screen and him and Robert Pattinson are like drawing on it. And he always draws this part is visual, the rest is practical. So like he circles it. And it's like the stuff you would expect, like the outside of the spaceship, or wolves. Outside the spaceship is visual effects.
Mhm.
Some of the like scenery is visual effects, but almost as much as they could do practical set pieces, they did, which I think helps this movie a lot.
Yeah.
Um, he talks about how if the printer is the represents the circle of rebirth, then the trash hole is a circle of death, which is why he wanted it to be an actual circle instead of just like a square or like something else, which I thought was
Like a
cute.
trash chute. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
That's
And then last little fact is that Bong Joon-ho wants to make a film in every genre, and this one is his like off-planet sci-fi movie for that, though he has talked about how he is scared of musicals and he doesn't like them. So he's not sure if he'll ever direct a musical, but he does want to make a movie in every genre.
Emilia Perez exists. You can do it.
He says in the interview, it's like in a Jimmy Kimmel interview or something, where he's like, I just suddenly hate when they start breaking out into song. And I was like, well, I guess you maybe won't do a musical. Maybe he'll do like a kid
Or
movie.
he could do like a sung through musical where it's there's no everything is song. Like dial like
Yeah.
it's like Hamilton or yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe.
Can't relate personally, but again,
Yeah.
Amelia Perez does exist, so you can
Yikes.
make a musical
Oh,
that
yeah.
is not a musical. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's really
But
bad. Anyways,
mhm, yeah,
too bad
that's
that's
my
not
fun facts.
it. Those are
Yeah.
fun. Those were good fun facts.
Thanks.
I feel
That's what
like
I
the
did this
ones for the
afternoon.
book were pretty bad.
Yeah, because the book's not
Not
fun.
not on this is not on Janessa.
No,
They're just if there's nothing to find, she can only do so much, okay?
I can only do so much when I give maybe 20 minutes towards these.
Yeah, and that's all there should be fun facts available within 20 minutes of Google search.
Yes, and there often is.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, thank you, Marissa, for joining.
Oh my gosh, you're so welcome. Happy to go to the movies with my friend.
Thank you, everyone, for listening to this podcast. Again, if you're interested, check out our Patreon. I hope it has something there that you are interested in. And if it doesn't, let me know what you want. And then maybe, if it's possible, I will add that to the Patreon stuff.
Bully
Um,
Janessa. And she'll
Bullishness.
maybe change what she's doing.
I mean, potentially. Make sure you share the podcast with your friends. Rate us 5 stars. If it's not 5 stars, don't worry about it. Follow us on Instagram at Read the Book First Podcast. I am posting lots of stuff on there for y'all to enjoy. And that is where you can tell me your thoughts. So if you want to tell me your thoughts, you got to follow me on Instagram. And remember, read the book first.